everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bridget Morris, and I talk about things that are specific carbohydrate diet related, and it also touches into keto and gluten-free. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. I've been doing the specific carbohydrate diet for 7 years, and it really has been a game changer in healing my Crohn's. So in today's video, I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing a recipe that is actually out of this book, Breaking the Vicious Cycle. It has a few modifications to it. I wanted to add an extra oomph to the recipe. This is definitely one of my go-to favorite. I always have this in the house for many reasons. I like to eat this before, after a workout because it replenishes on some of maybe the sugars that I've consumed during the workout, or it helps me to feel fuller longer. I also love to take this when I'm traveling. It travels really well, whether it's domestic or internationally. And we all know that sometimes when you are traveling or when you're on the road, it is a bit difficult to find foods that are specific carbohydrate diet. So specific carbohydrate diet friendly, so I always make sure that I am prepared. But it also makes for a great snack if you want a cup of tea, or sometimes if I'm really busy running out of the house and I may not have enough time to have a sit-down meal, I'll just grab one of those, and it's going to help me to feel fuller longer. So in this book, the recipe is actually called Monster Cookie, but like I said, I've made my own modifications to it. I've added a few things in there. So if you want to learn how to make my own version of the Monster Cookies, please keep watching.
So in today's video, you're going to be needing 5 cups of almond flour, 1 cup of dried raisins, 1 cup of shredded unsweetened coconut, and that's important, 3/4 cup of chia seeds, 1 cup of pecan pieces, 1 cup of honey, 2 eggs, mine are organic, 1/2 cup of butter and it will be melted, some ground cinnamon, some ground nutmeg, some pure vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda and salt. Hey everyone, I hope you're ready to be doing some baking with me today. So like I said, this recipe is out of the book Breaking the Vicious Cycle. So come on closer so you can see what I'm going to do. So we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. So here's my almond flour. So you can see that there's some chunks in it. So I'm just going to take this fork and kind of just break them up. I like to add my dry ingredients one by one so I can really mix them in well. So I started off with the baking soda, and now I'm going to go with the chia seeds. I used to add them all at once and then mix it, but then I found that in the end, certain cookies had more of one thing than the other. So it's just better to do it one by one. So I just added the coconut, and now we're going to add the dried raisins, and just go ahead, mix it all well so that it's evenly distributed. Alright, so for the ground cinnamon and the ground nutmeg, I'm at a point where I don't really measure anymore. I've been doing this recipe for a long time, and I just kind of measure with my heart. So I just pour it in, and it's just based on color at this point. So I'm looking for this kind of light brownish color that I want to the almond flour. But I'm going to be putting down in this description box below the approximate quantities of what I use for the cinnamon and then the nutmeg. So you can see here I'm still adding a little bit more cinnamon just because I just felt like it. And then don't forget a little bit of salt after. Alright, now on to our wet ingredients. So I'm going to be using a blender to make sure that the wet ingredients are all well mixed. I find that it does the job really well. So that was the melted butter. Now we're going to add the eggs and our vanilla extract. So I'm adding about 1 teaspoon, and then the honey. So I like to use a spatula to scrape off all the honey. I don't want any waste. Now that our wet ingredients are all perfectly mixed, we're going to be adding them to our dry ingredients. So I like to take a spoon and make a little hole in the middle, and I pour it in. I pour about half of the mixture, and I like to just kind of pre-stir it a little bit, and then once that's kind of well mixed, I add the rest of the liquid, and then I just stir it all in. So once all the ingredients are mixed well together, the consistency that you're looking for is more like damp. It's not going to be like super wet, and it's not going to be super dry, but it will be damp. That's probably the best way that I can explain it. It may be more on the drier side than it is on the wet side, and that's what you're looking for. So now to be scooping the dough onto the baking sheets, I actually will be using 2 of them, and I line them with a parchment paper. So I'm using 2 spoons to scoop the dough onto the parchment paper. As you can see here, it's kind of sloppy. I'm not really measuring it. They're approximately going to be all the same size, and that is kind of key in order to be baking, because you don't want some of them to be baking quicker than others, because that means, well, some of them will burn. I like to make my cookies fairly big, as you can see here, just because of the way that I eat them. I will usually eat just 1 at a time. I don't eat 2 or 3. I'm also leaving some space in between, but they will not expand, just because there's not a lot of liquid in it, so it's not going to be melting and expanding. So what you see right now is pretty much how they're going to be coming out of the oven. You can see here that the recipe fills up the 2 cookie sheets perfectly. And this is what the cookies look like up close. From here, we're going to put them in the oven at 325 Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. You want to keep an eye on them because they cook pretty quickly and you don't want them to burn. And please disregard how dirty my oven door is. And look at that, perfectly golden. Oh, they smell so nice. I wish you were here and you could smell them. Perfectly cooked. From here, I like to let them cool off completely before I put them away in the freezer. So I put them on this cooling rack. Honestly, I'll eat 1, maybe 2, because they're freshly out of the oven and they are so good. But I will pack everything away for a later day. So now that they've cooled off, I'll put them away in these Ziploc bags, and I can put them in the freezer. They can last up to 2 months in the freezer, but they usually don't. So if you want to be sure, you can write on the Ziploc bag the date that you actually made them, so you can have a reference. But like I said, to me, it never lasts 2 months, so I don't have to worry about that. And there you go, just like that.
And there you go, guys. That is how you make my own version of the monster cookies. I hope that you liked this video and that it inspired you to try it, and maybe leave in the comments below if you have tried it, or maybe substituted certain items for maybe other things, like maybe raisins. I know you can use dates for that, but yeah, let me know, say hello. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and maybe telling other people that you feel would benefit from this channel. Let's all spread the love and spread the healthy. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.